Today we are going to talk about the human reproduction. As you all know that human reproduction basically is of sexual reproduction type where the fusion of the male and the female gamete takes place. When I say male gamete, it means the sperms, and when I say female gamete, it means the egg or the ovum. Now when a male gamete fuses with the female gamete, it gives rise to a zygote, and this zygote further divides to form a embryo divides to form a fetus, and this fetus divides to form a human baby. The male reproductive system basically has various parts such as the testis, it has the vas deferens, seminal vesicle, prostate gland. Now all the different parts of the male reproductive system are actually involved in two processes. One is the production of the sperms and the other is to nourish the sperms and deliver the sperms to the site of fertilization. The production of sperms is done with the help of testis, and nourishment is done with the help of the secretions of the seminal vesicle, prostate gland, and it is delivered with the help of the vas deferens. Okay. Testis is the primary reproductive organ in male. It is covered in a muscular pouch-like structure called as the scrotum. Okay, so this is the muscular pouch-like structure called as the scrotum. Now, the function of testis is production of sperms, secretion of testosterone, that is the male sex hormone. Now, testis is basically a plural word. This is a plural word. The singular form is testis. And the function of the scrotum is basically to maintain a lower temperature. Okay, to maintain a lower temperature for the fertility of the sperm. So, in order to maintain the fertility of the sperms. Now, the testosterone is actually a male sex hormone. The function is development of secondary sexual characters. So, you all have studied what are the different secondary sexual characters, right? Growth of hair, cracking of the voice, change in muscles, change in the growth in the muscles. Okay, so all these are different secondary sexual characters that we see at the onset of puberty in males. Then it helps in the regulation of the formation of the sperms. All right. Now, the sperms which are produced in the testis basically are transported with the help of a tube-like structure called as the vas deferens. Okay, they are transferred with the help of a tube-like structure called as the vas deferens. As you can see this tube here, okay, and it moves, the sperms move towards the one more tube that is connecting here, which is coming out of the gallbladder, that is the ureter. So in males you can see that the passage, okay, the passage of the ureter and the vas deferens is a very common opening. Okay, it leads to into a common opening of the urethra. Here the fluid which is secreted by the seminal vesicle and the prostate glands come into action, and they help in maintaining the fertility. They provide nourishment to the sperms. So this fluid which is secreted by the seminal vesicle and the prostate gland is called as the semen. We call it as semen, and it helps in nourishment of the sperms. Alright. This is the typical structure of a sperm, where you can see that the whole body is divided into three parts: head, midpiece, and the tail. So the head region basically consists of the acrosome, cell membrane, and the nucleus, which has the genetic material. Now in the midpiece we have the mitochondria, which helps in the providing energy to the sperm. Okay, it provides energy to the sperm for the motility. Then it has a tail or a flagellum, which basically helps in the movement. Okay, it helps the sperms to move forward. Alright. Moving forward to the female reproductive system. The female reproductive system, the primary organ in the female reproductive system is the ovary. Okay, ovaries are the female reproductive organs of the female reproductive system, or the primary reproductive organs. Alright. Now their functions are production of ova or the eggs, that is the female gametes, and secretion of hormone estrogen and progesterone. Okay. Now the hormones, basically secretion of estrogen and progesterone, they basically help in the development of the secondary sexual characters in females. So all this can be observed on the onset of puberty. Okay. Now basically you can see that there are a pair of ovaries in the female which helps in the production of the ova. Now these ova or the eggs that needs to be produced by a female for her whole lifetime, during her whole lifetime, will be already present in the ovaries during her birth. Okay. But in case of males it is not so. In males the sperms are released only on the onset of puberty. But in females these ovaries already contain the eggs which are immature at the time of birth itself. Okay. These mature once the puberty is attained and estrogen is released in the body, and you can see that the mature ovary, the mature ovum is released out of the ovary towards a duct-like structure called as the fallopian tube, or also called as the oviduct. Okay. So fallopian tube or oviduct is the place where the ovary releases its ova, and ova is settled near the fallopian tube. Alright. Now whenever there is entry of the sperms which comes through the vagina, then it moves towards the cervix and then it moves towards the uterus. You can see that the sperms go and fuse with the female gamete at the fallopian tube. So this is the place where the fusion of the male and the female gamete takes place. Now once the fusion of the male and the female gamete has taken place in this place, it leads to the formation of a zygote. Now this zygote later forms an embryo. Okay, it leads a formation of an embryo, and this embryo goes and then gets settled on the walls of the uterus. This process is called as implantation. Okay, this process is called as implantation, and the site where the fusion of the male and the female gamete takes place, that is the fallopian tube, is called as the site of fertilization. Okay, it is called as site of fertilization. Alright. Now whenever the uterus has already accepted the embryo needs a lot of nourishment in order to grow. Now during the pregnancy there is a tissue which is formed called as the placenta. This tissue is a special nutritive tissue. It's a special nutritive tissue, okay, that is formed during the period of pregnancy for the nourishment of the embryo. This placenta basically helps in the exchange of the gases, exchange of the antibodies, okay, providing nourishment. Everything happens from the mother to the child with the help of this placenta. Now other than that, the waste that is produced by the fetus is also exchanged. Okay, the waste that is produced from the fetus is also exchanged from the fetus to the mother's body, okay, towards the placenta. So this occurs only during the gestation period. Gestation period means the period of pregnancy, alright, which lasts about 9 to 10 months. Okay. Now, what is menstruation? The ovaries release the ova towards the fallopian tube, and in case if the ova has not encountered any sperm, that is any sexual activity has not taken place, then the uterus lining becomes very thick. Okay, it becomes very thick, and you can observe that the ova comes and gets implanted. The ova comes and moves towards this lining in order to, okay, in order to gets implanted here. Okay, and this uterine wall sheds off, and it is in the form of blood and mucus. So this process is called as menstruation. Okay, this happens when fertilization has not taken place. Okay, so the ova, which is produced by the ovaries, move towards the fallopian tube, then come towards the uterine wall. The uterine wall is ready to accept this ova, which is a non-fertilized ova. Okay, so it is non-fertilized and it is ready to accept it by having a very thick layer, which then moves out of the cervix and the vagina as blood and mucus. This process is called as menstruation. Okay, so I hope you all like this video, and this video was very informative. So please follow and subscribe and share it with your friends, and post it in the comment box if you have any doubts. Thank you.